Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel Data Science Nerd. So today we are going to discuss an conceptual thing basically. So we are going to discuss some clause like group by, and the main thing is what is the difference between where clause and having clause. Okay, this is the main thing that we are going to discuss because I have seen that these are some conceptual thing that even some mid senior level people are also unable to answer in interviews, because these stuff sometimes these questions are frequently asked even to experienced candidate as well, because they wanted to check your like conceptual clarity whether you are clear or not in these SQL databases. So we will see that actually what is the difference between them. So before going to this difference, right, just don't just by heart it that this is the definition, this is the difference, this and this and this. First just try to understand that what is the purpose of where and what is the purpose of having, why we are using both of them. Once you understand that, right, you don't need to by heart it, or basically you don't have to remember that. It will automatically goes into your subconscious mind. So let's see. First I will explain what is the meaning of group by, why we where we perform group by, and what is the meaning of where clause and what is the meaning of having clause. Okay, so let's say this is just a normal website sqlpractice.com. I just picked this website just to take one ready-made data so that I can explain you what is the difference between both of them. Okay, so let's say I have uh, where is that? Okay, this one is that. So limit, let's give 20. No question selected. Okay, wait a second. So okay, so I'm doing select star from order details limit 10. Okay, now run it. Okay, okay, so let's see. So this is the data, right? So if you see this, right, we have columns like order ID, product ID, quantity, and discount. So if you see this particular order ID, so let's say where order ID equal to this one 10248. Okay, okay, if you see this particular order is getting repeated 3 times. Okay, so however the product is different but order ID remains same. Okay, under the same order these particular 3 product have been ordered. So now what I want to explain you is, once I say that okay, this particular order ID has, like if I ask you that how many products have been bought under this particular product ID, so what will you say? That means I want to count that how many times this particular order ID is being getting repeated. Okay, because every order ID has a different product, right? Like this particular order ID is same but product is getting changed, right? So how many product this particular order ID has? So if I say that, that means when I say that I want the particular count of records based on some particular column, that means we have to apply a group by clause here. Because what I want that based on the order ID, give me the number of records coming for one particular order ID. So when I say that order ID comma count of star is nothing but it will just mark star on every order ID of 10248 and it will just count the number of stars. Okay, where order ID is this. Now what I want to do, I am grouping it by order ID. That means group this order ID into one and count number of record, that how many times this particular order ID is getting repeated. So if I just run this query, what do you think what will be the answer? It will be 3, right? So if you see this 3, right, I hope you got that where I am using group by clause. So I'm using group by clause on a column whenever I have to perform any aggregation. So aggregation means, this is some technical definition that I'm saying that you can answer in an interview as well. Okay, when I have to perform any uh, Aggregation means either count, either maximum based on some column, or minimum of some column, or summation of something, or count of anything like that, okay, or average of based on some particular column. So this is how I am performing group by. Now tell me, what do you understand by where clause here? Can I say that, if I want to say that, let's say I want that give me the details of all the products where count of where the number of order has at least 3 products. That means one particular order ID is getting repeated at least 3 times, 3 or greater than 3, or let's say 2 or greater than 2. That means 10248, this has 3 orders, right? 3 particular products, right? That means 3 number of records are present for this order ID. So I want this particular product, this particular order ID records to be shown, or any number of records which have more than 2, okay, more than 2 counts. So can I apply this condition in where clause, that and count of star is greater than 2? Can I apply this? Can anyone tell? So always remember, where clause is only used to filter based on number of records. I mean rows, based on the rows we are filtering the data, okay. So where clause is applied on the columns, and where clause is never applied on an aggregate function. Always remember this. Where clause is never applied on an aggregate function. That means I cannot apply that where maximum of this is should be this, or count of this should be this, sum of this should be greater than this, or count of this or average of this. Any aggregate function cannot be applied in where clause. This is a wrong syntax, okay. So where I will apply aggregate function? So to filter record based on aggregate function, we will use having clause. Having clause is always used on aggregate function filter, okay. So if I want to apply that having count of star greater than 2, now this particular query will work, okay. This is fine. See, greater than 2 means either 3, 4, anything. So these particular IDs have more than 2 records. See, so what you got from this? Having, both where and having are used for filtration only, but where clause is used to filter only records. That means without aggregate function, we are just applying filtration on the columns that are already present, okay. But we cannot apply aggregate function on where clause. Always remember, aggregate function we cannot apply, okay. We can apply these type of function like substring function, or any function like trim function. These function we can apply, okay, in where clause, because this is not aggregation, okay. But aggregate function like count, maximum, minimum, sum, average, these function cannot be applied in where clause. Always remember. So having clause is used to filter the records based on aggregate functions. This is the main difference between where and having clause. I hope you will never need any other material or resource or video to learn this particular concept. I hope you got that what I tried to explain here. This is very important. So going onwards, you should clearly understand the difference between where and having, okay. This is a very important concept. I hope you got it. And so this video I made just for to clarify this particular conceptual thing. And now tomorrow we will discuss again some SQL problems, okay. So thank you. And if you are, like I always say, that if you are getting to learn something from this channel, please do subscribe to the channel, okay. And as I already said, that if you are not learning anything from this channel, you can ignore, okay. So please let me know if there is any feedback from your side to me, okay. Whatever you want, some topics, particular topics to be covered, or anything you want, okay, you can just pin down in the comment section and I will try to make a video on that. Any roadmap you want, any fresher is there who is watching this, and he or she wants to understand that how should we make our careers in data domain, or let's say want to understand some particular concept in SQL, anything you have in mind, please do ask. Okay. Okay, thanks a lot.